My name is Algimantas. I live in a small East European country in Lietuva. Try to learn this word, Lietuva. I represent Creator as his ambassador to this planet, an apostle of Jesus and his partner Nebuchadnezzar. The spiritual status of the latter two, Master Creator Son Jesus of Nazareth and Creator Daughter Nebuchadnezzar. I've been authorized by Creator, the Paradise Trinity I Am, and Jesus and Nebuchadnezzar to speak out the living word of Creator, of Jesus, of Nebuchadnezzar, to help humanity develop spiritually. Without its spiritual development, humanity is doomed to failure. Therefore, Creator cares for humanity. Therefore, he uses me as his tool to enlighten you, to open your broader insight, broader thinking, that you are not the material outer forms that are called human body, a human body, but you are the inner dweller of this inner body, spiritual, a spiritual personality, which is eternal and which shall be resurrected after this material outer form, outer vehicle, shall consume all Creator's living energy. For living on this planet, on the initial planet in the journey to create on paradise, in the very geographic center of creation, I receive revelations from Creator, publish books of his teachings, revelations. At the request of Creator, I set up the living temple and the living religion of revelation of Creator, the Paradise Trinity I Am, and lead the worship service of Creator. This is the only religion of revelation and the only living temple of revelation the world over. What is the difference between different churches and sects and our religion of Creator, the religion of revelation? Revelation is the truth disclosed by a higher spiritual personality than the human in order to assist the human personality. Well, it's a spiritual personality in reality, only having a very temporary material outer form of a human body. But nonetheless, the personality is spiritual. But the mind which controls the personality operation on this world, in this material outer form, is of the animal origin. Animal. not divine source. Therefore, Creator is using me to enlighten people, even as revelations have the meaning and purpose to enlighten people. There were 5 epochal revelations. The first one was 500,000 years ago, when our planetary prince arrived on the planet to help people get ever more enlightened, starting with the rudiments, hygiene, peaceful association, and peaceful relationship among tribes, some sort of industry development, primitive industry, some sort of construction, just the rudiments of agriculture, and even the rudiments of religion of revelation, that is, of a higher source, rather than what humans have developed to that stage during the previous time. And that previous time also comprised the first half of the million. Currently, humanity has, well, almost 1 million year history. So when 7 adjutant mind spirits were leading people, savage people, from within, they were leading them up to the point that they started worshipping some natural powers around, like, say, pagans, the elements, some animals, even plants. So this was the moment that the higher authorities decided to send the planetary prince with the first revelation, and that was our planetary prince, Caligastia. He arrived on the planet together with 100 assistants. And these 100 assistants had been previously mortals on other planets, different planets. They were already after their mortal life on their native planets, and they got resurrected in the Merontia, or soul identity of their spiritual personality. So they volunteered for this mission, to be transported into our world. Then they would receive mortal forms that would correspond the environment of the planet, that is, the atmospheric pressure, the size of the planet, and that led to a certain height of the body, the temperature. So they were given, the mortals inhabiting at that time our planet, best specimen of the life plasma. And for this purpose, there were chosen 50 men and 50 women, the best examples of the then existing humanity from different tribes. And their life plasma was used to make outer forms for these new arrivals. You should know that the initial point for starting life on every planet is in life plasma, which is created in the local system. And it's being tested before implanting the life plasma on any planet where humans should inhabit that planet. So in our case, there had been more than 500,000 different experiments with the life plasma that ultimately was chosen, the foundation, the basis of the salt solution, because it was decided that the life plasma in 3 parts of the then ocean will be implanted. And if you cut the skin of the current body and lick that place, you will see a salty liquid. This is exactly the same concentration of salty solution corresponding to the solution of the ocean into which the life plasma had been implanted. So that's why life plasma was necessary to be extracted from the mortal bodies, just to give the forms corresponding the local environment on our planet for these 100 assistants of our planetary prince. So that was the first revelation of higher truth to humanity. Unfortunately, after 300,000 years, Caligastia joined the Lucifer and Satan's revolt against the Father in the local system of Satania, that our planet and 608 other planets with humans belonged to. Currently, there are 619 inhabited planets with humans in this local system of Satania. So the last 200,000 years. Spiritual, consistent, systematic enlightenment of humanity has been stopped completely. There were only, a possibility to remedy the situation just to a certain level when, as back as nearly 40,000 years ago, Adam and Eve were brought in to our planet. They were material son and daughter, and their revelation also came from a higher source to humanity. They both belong to the living order of the material sons and daughters, but they are not mortals. This is a separate category of sons and daughters. They are material. They reproduce themselves through their intimate sexual relationship, like us mortals, because we're also material. But they are immortal. Their purpose and the mission was to create the violet life plasma and the violet race, to improve humanity, that it would get a stronger gene that would resist different viruses, different bacteria, different diseases much better, and that the violet race, when already having it common or families with the local tribe representatives, best representatives, would reproduce the offspring that would have much, much higher spiritual insight. Unfortunately, they have completely failed in their mission. They have failed their mission. Due to Eve's deception and her sin. But they were not considered to have joined the Caligastier in the revolt against the Father. They were simply adjudged that they failed their mission, and they were degraded to the status of mortals. Just from the material son and daughter, they were degraded to a mortal who would live on this planet and experience material death like any other humans on this planet. The third revelation came to our world, to humanity, 2,000 years before the appearance of Jesus. And that was the coming of Makiventa Melchizedek as a grown-up person, visible to humans in the material form, which was like any other grown-up person of this world. And he was named the Sage of Salem, a wise man from Salem. Salem was the place that later was named into Jobus and still later into Jerusalem. So he trained tribe people, enlightened them spiritually. But the animal origin human mind was afraid of everything, even of a broader and higher and deeper knowledge. That's why Makiventa had to stop his efforts from explaining to the local mortals when he was training spiritual teachers that there is creator in three personalities in paradise, the Paradise Trinity. Instead, he used Trinity of the constellation fathers, of the constellation three leaders, because our local system of Satania belongs to this constellation, and every constellation is ruled by a trio, the top leaders of the constellation, and they are called the fathers of the constellation. So Makiventa did manage to disclose that there is Trinity, but he did not go any further beyond this constellation Trinity level. And that is, of course, only similar in an arithmetic sum. 3 persons lead the constellation. And constellation is just one out of 100 constellations in one local universe. And in this sky there are 100,000 local universes, and every local universe has 100 constellations, and every constellation is led by the trio of the constellation fathers. But this one sky with 100,000 local universes is one just out of 7 such super universes. Meanwhile, the Paradise Trinity is leading all these 7 super universes, all these 700,000 local universes, all these 70 million constellations, and all 7 billion local systems, and 7 trillion inhabited planets with humans, mortals. So it's an enormous enormous difference between the trio in one constellation and crater, the Paradise Trinity. And now I already revealed to humans, because I've been this truth revealed by Creator, that I am, always written in capital characters, is the aggregate source and center. So the Paradise Trinity hyphen I am make up one Creator. And creation currently is being still expanded. New universes will appear. New planets will be formed. New architectural spheres will be built up in outer space, in outer cosmos. And this very same Creator shall ever exist, as he has no beginning and no end. And he shall ever be in control of the whole of creation. So Makiventa Melchizedek trained more than 50,000 spiritual teachers and sent to different parts of the planet. So that's why some remnants of the Makiventa's teachings still, like some snips, might be encountered in some parts of the world, in India. Revelation number 4 was the birth of Jesus of Nazareth. He is Creator's son. He is the founder, one of the two founders of his local universe, together with Creator daughter, Nebuchadnezzar. And he has bestowed himself as Jesus of Nazareth on this planet to enlighten humanity and to accumulate mortal experience, so that he would know from within what it means to live in the form of a human being, and to experience the exit of the planet, or the exit from this material body. But it was not necessary for him to experience a brutal, infamous, and I would say cruel death on the cross. He might take his life away himself, even as he has such a power from the Father. But humans, in complete darkness, after 300,000 years of revolt against the Father of our planetary prince, Caligastia, and myriads of other personalities who also join him, invisible to us, like angels, midwares. So out of the then 609 planets inhabited by mortals, only 37 planetary princes joined the revolt against the Father. Only 37. Unfortunately, ours joined this rebellion as well. That's a deplorable thing. But on the other hand, we are lucky to experience what it means, a revolt against Creator, when we have no understanding what is our spiritual personality, what is our purpose on this planet, what is the purpose of life in general, how this life came to being on our planet, and who brought it, this life on the planet. We don't have any idea of life carriers as such spiritual personalities who carry life plasma to the planets to be inhabited by humans, or create this life plasma after the experimentation right on the planet. But prior to this implantation, the experiments should be carried out in the local system. And finally, the chemical formula as the basis for this life plasma should be authorized by Creator Son and Creator Daughter, just the founders and leaders of the local universe. Jesus' mission was successful, and he was promoted to the status of the Master Creator Son. So currently, he leads his local universe together with his partner, Creator Daughter Nebuchadnezzar, in his own name rather than in the name of the Father, because he had earned or has earned this authority, top authority from the Father, top sovereignty, by 7 bestowals. And the other 6 bestowals were on different planets or other architectural spheres, that is, even bigger planets, specially designed and made directly out of Creator's energy, rather than being in origin in an evolutionary way, as is the case with our planet. The planet, our planet, is from the sun matter. So Jesus' mission was a successful mission. But the problem is that he was rejected. He was rejected by his natives, Jews. His gospel, the fatherhood of God and brotherhood of man, was completely distorted by Paul. Well, initially he was persecuting the followers of Jesus, and his name was Saul. Subsequently, he changed it into Paul. But he had never met Jesus himself. He had never heard Jesus' teachings. He received this knowledge from Peter. But Peter was too hot-tempered. He was first acting and only then thinking. He was eloquent, but his mind was not deep and insightful. Therefore, he misunderstood and misinterpreted Jesus' teachings, even while retelling his life with Jesus while they were having, as the group of apostles, common life with Jesus for almost 4 years. So the knowledge that Paul took from were the so-called Holy Scripture of Jews, then the Greek philosopher Philo, his own personal religious experience, and is just speculation about different rituals of Jews, because initially even the apostles attended the very same synagogues, celebrated the same holidays, religious holidays. The only difference between the follower of Jesus and Jewish religion was the baptism of grown-ups by spilling water on the head of the one being baptized. So that's why distortion of Jesus' gospel cost us a lot. Wars still continue. Vices still flourish. Spiritual light is even too dim to be called light at all. Therefore, revelation number 5 was necessary to be passed to humanity. The Urantia book. This is the unique collective work of different spiritual personalities, different spiritual order members. So this is the only truth that is revealed in the broadest way to humanity that has ever heard of and received. That is why You should study this enormous book, over 2,000 pages. You should also study this book, Jesus Christ, I Speak to You Again. This is the revelation book I received from Jesus Christ in my native tongue, Lithuanian. Translated it into English. Without these revelation sources, you will not expand your outlook. You are feeling like orphans. You have no idea where to turn your mind, which way to think, which way to look at in your life, how to behave in the family, how to deal with your children, how to deal in the society, with your colleagues, in your business office. You have no any idea, because now every sphere in every walk of life is turned upside down. Therefore, Creator now is using me as his ambassador and apostle of Jesus in Macedonia to try, make one more attempt to attract your attention at him, at spiritual light from Creator himself, which is, by the way, within you as well, even as within me. You can also receive revelations, provided you would listen to my teachings, you would read these books, you would attend the living temple of the Paradise Trinity I am. If you profess this living religion of revelation of Creator, otherwise you will lead a miserable life on this planet, because you don't know the meaning of one's living on the planet. Everyone's. The meaning is to live a brighter life on the planet within humanity than you have received from the previous generation. A brighter light. But you don't even know what is this light. You are in a complete confusion, not only in spiritual matters, but also in intellectual and material spheres. When I ever deeper begin to ponder on humanity, I feel a deep, deep sorrow for the United States of America, as this is the weakest state in the world. It has no roots. No roots whatever. All roots have been cut off because they arrived from different parts of the world. Therefore, there is no American nation, as there are no nations in the United States. And only a nation having deep roots is strong spiritually. The United States is very weak, the weakest country in the world in the spiritual sense of the word. They have no leaders, no spiritual leaders, no political leaders. No society. And I don't see the future for the United States at all. It's a great sorrow in my heart. But that's another topic. I want to extend my hand of assistance, of help, even to those orphans inhabiting the United States. Creator has his fragment within you as well. Think what you have just heard. Think over my words. Ponder them deeply. Whatever thoughts you might feel rising up within you, express these very same thoughts to a personal creator in your sincerity. And that shall be the very first step towards creator, the Paradise Trinity I am. Do it. Don't put it off. Don't skip it. It's very important to you, personally, to you, each of you. As I know what I'm speaking of. I embrace you all.